So Lee, obviously we're in Amsterdam, a lovely place, end of the F1 2018 press tour. We've talked enough about F1, I think. I think you've certainly talked enough about F1, right? You spent, I think we worked out like what, nearly a day's worth of chatting?
It was like just a solid almost 24 hours worth of talking over Gamescom, and that was just the interviews alone.
Yeah.
So that was not the extra pieces to camera or just chatting to people who you bump into who want to talk about the game.
So I figured that while we've got a bit of spare time, we'll just chat about games that inspired you.
Probably racing game-wise, it was probably Jeff Crammond's Grand Prix on the Amiga.
Okay.
Just because it was a proper representation of Formula One, and Nigel Mansell was in it, and I just remember playing 100% race distance. And the Amiga was in my brother's 100%? Bedroom. Yeah, because my brother used to have the largest bedroom in the house. Compared to me.
Not that you were bitter about it at all.
No, it was fine. Mine was cosy.
Okay.
So the Amiga was in his room. Right. So I remember sitting in there, drawing the curtains and just racing and racing and racing and racing. But also it had the ability to save during the race to floppy, so you could save your progress, so you didn't have to do it all in one sitting. Was that the inspiration of? Is that an inspiration of where it came from with F1? Funnily enough, it wasn't. It's amazing how some of the things... It is amazing how that comes full circle, right? Yeah, it's just the practicalities of it, that a Formula One race, if you really want to do a full-length race, sometimes life gets in the way and you need to be able to save it and come back to it later. Yeah. And it just makes it all the more accessible. It didn't have commentary, did it? Not that I can remember. But did you used to do your own commentary? Come on. Did I used to do that all the time. You've always got it in your head, haven't you? Because you watched it on the TV and you can always hear that in the back of your mind. So, I could always hear Maury Walker and James Hunt, as it would have been back then. It's one of those fantasy things with all games, isn't it? That you've got this in your mind, what else is going on. You actually... Whatever's been created by the team that have made the game, you always take it that little bit further in your mind, don't you? Yeah. It's like when you were a kid and you were playing with Lego and you're all of a sudden in your own world. It's like a game allows you to just access those feelings and that emotion and inspiration even easier. Yeah. So let's move away from racing games. Are there any other games that have actually just meant a lot in your life that you remember fondly for being a game that you lost yourself in, or? Yeah, there's loads. Yeah. There's loads. Pinball Dreams on the Amiga, I used to play versus my dad, right? So me and my dad and my brother used to try and beat each other's high scores. So that was lovely. Yeah. And then my mum would play Ladybug on the ColecoVision. She wanted to get further. So it was even my parents gamed, and they still do today. Ocarina of Time on the N64 will always be one of my favourite games of all time. Probably will always be my favourite game. Oh, wow. Okay. I never want to play it again because I worry I would spoil that memory. Yeah. But for me at the time, that was pure Nintendo gold. It was just... Everything in the world was exciting and interesting. You wanted to do it. You wanted to know where you were going, for what reason. Even things like there was the Skulltulas, and you didn't understand why you were having to hit them with your bow and arrow. And then eventually you meet their parent Skulltula, and you find out the history behind them. And but those are threads that they've carried on through more recent Zelda games. And even though they tell the same story every game, you still get those wow moments. Yeah. You still get excited. It makes you warm inside, right? Even though in Ocarina of Time, I love the fact that you played as young Link and older Link. I think that was just awesome. But when you got things like when you first get the Master Sword, and when you know what's happening, you know the story, but they still make every moment feel cool. Yeah. And when it becomes clear that you are the hero of time, the person the story's been told about, you're like, that's really cool. But you knew it was coming. Or it didn't spoil the reveal. Yeah, it's the same with Mario, isn't it, really? You look at Mario now, even Odyssey, it just draws so heavily on the past. But that past is so strong, and it's got it creates those same feelings, I think. And I think, obviously, none more so than Ocarina of Time. Yeah, it's still my favourite of the Zelda games, and the recent ones have been really, really good. Did you play Breath of the Wild? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I put a lot of hours into that. And again, that's the same sort of thing, but there's so much more to it now to make it more relevant to modern gaming. Yeah. I think it's funny enough, as you say, it's made with such love, and it's like that's what gets you, isn't it? You feel that in the game. Yeah. I think that's... And it's not something... But I think, when you go back and you were saying that's your favourite of all time and nothing will change that, really. It's a funny thing that nostalgia can do with that, isn't it? Because some of my favourite games of all time are from when I was younger. Because they play such a part in your life. It's just something about nostalgia. There's a part of the brain and the heart that makes you long for that, and that will never be beaten. It's also sometimes in a period of your life where times were simpler or easier, or maybe it was a really stressful time in your life and that was your escape. Yeah. And they all make a game mean more to you.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Ocarina of Time, I can't really think of anything other than the fact that it was just a fantastic game that got me. But then like other games that I got really invested in were things like Shenmue, and again that's because it was a really like an emotional journey of a game.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to have that continuation of the story, which is why I'm playing Shenmue 1 again now. It's been re-released.
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying it.
Are you getting the same feelings that you had?
No, it's probably not as much because I'm older, more miserable, more cynical, probably.
More bills to pay.
But it's still just the atmosphere they set is fantastic, and that's incredible.